favorite thing about Oshkosh?
My favorite thing about Oshkosh is the water.
Third question. What would you like to say to people who want to bring their hateful ideology to our community?
What would I like to say? Please don't. Simply, please don't. I recognize, there are protections for certain freedoms of speech and activities. But this is really a healing opportunity, and it would be like adding salt to the wound or reopening the wound, as we have had some recent experiences that were impactful, right? I think that as a receiving community for new members coming in, while yes, we want to be inclusive of all, it makes it more challenging when there's divisive hate speech, harmful hate speech, and it kind of goes against this community's values. No, not kind of, it does. It goes against this community's values, and where we want to see ourselves, in 5, 10, 20 years. We're working very diligently on attracting and promoting diverse talent throughout the business community, throughout our community in general.
Alicia Obermeyer, studying Human Services and Women and Gender Studies.
Alina Zhang, music industry major with a music business and recording technology emphasis.
Ian McDonald, political science major. Don't have a minor, but yeah.
Jeez. Okay. So what were your expectations coming to UW Oshkosh?
Yeah. I grew up in Oshkosh, so my expectations were like, wow, I'm going back to my high school. And that was, because a lot of people from my high school came here, so that was kind of it.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't have any expectations. I think I just wanted a fresh start because I hated high school. I hated everything about it besides dance, which was what I did.
Yeah, so for me, this was my third university attending, and I kind of just ended up here because I applied at UW Green Bay and UW Oshkosh, and I said whoever responds first gets it, and Oshkosh responded first.
Nice. Are you glad you stayed here?
Yeah, I'm pretty content with it.
So how would you describe in your own words the hate speech that happened here on campus?
So I think for me it was not shocking, but frustrating that there was no protocol. There was not a lot of outreach. I appreciated the initiative of Ian, stepping up and taking responsibility of the thing, basically the whole situation, and making me and Alina and Pahua aware of it. But other than that, it just was I wasn't shocked, that's basically what it comes down to.
I wasn't shocked about, whatever happened. It really impacted me, how my performance, as a leader, as an individual, and as a student. I didn't want to be on campus at all. It made me feel like I didn't belong here. But it's also really nice to see the number of people that are standing up and, voicing, their concerns and reaching out to us.
Yeah, on social media, I think, you kind of see this stuff all the time where somebody says or does something racist and it really doesn't have anything to do with you. And then now that it does, it was kind of like you get a whole new perspective. So I think it was just trying to figure out, because like Alicia said, we didn't really have a protocol for it. It was just kind of out there, and everybody was kind of taking their own stab at it and learning how to deal with it. So it was both a learning experience because it's inevitable for something like that to end, and I think it was just a time for everybody to kind of like reflect and be like, okay, like now we need to look in and be like, do we say these things around our friends? Like, what's the environment that we really have here? So it was something where you can kind of put yourself in check and be like, you can't just say this is all one person, because I think everybody has something they can fix.
Prior to that incident, have you experienced hate in your personal life before this happened? Either on campus or like out at the bars or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know, being a queer person, like I face discrimination on any day that I choose to be with my partner, or if I kind of dress more like masculine that day. You only become like aware of the stares when you're looking for it, though. But I mean, like I've had people run in between my partner and I when we're walking down Main Street yelling faggot. I've had people throw things at us down the street, which like I'd experienced things like that prior to coming to Oshkosh. What was hard was watching my partner experience discrimination like this, because she had never faced any kind of prejudice or ignorance like that prior to this.
And with me, being a Hmong American, woman, it's something that I was kind of born into. Being different, looking different. All that I would get is, go back to where you came from. That's like where do Hmong people come from? Being the young person I am, uneducated, I didn't know how to respond. I'm like, well, I was born here. I don't know where you want me to go. Do you belong here? But it's just it's just those hurtful things, and aside from like just hateful actions and comments, and a lot of microaggressions, that not only my peers but other people of higher power that I work with, they don't realize that they are saying things that are considered microaggressions, that do affect me and others as well.
I think I've experienced two forms. Like I grew up in Kentucky when I was really little, and so like obviously like I had a little bit of bullying back in like elementary school, but like I could like even with like growing up there, you always saw like the Confederate flag, and I've never been a fan of that. It's always been something I've kind of been bothered by. I think I wrote in like my book thing that in elementary school, like when we first started learning about the Civil War, my teacher had like started off the class by saying the Civil War wasn't about slavery, and they talked about everything else except that. And so that to me kind of like introduced me to this new kind of underlying kind of just like you want to forget about it, and just kind of it set a foundation where kind of forgetting about something so historical and was okay, was that we could change that kind of history, which we can. And then coming to UWO, like hearing stories from Alicia and Elena, and like being in this class, for example, has also shown me things that like I didn't know before that. I'm learning every day. Like I just like even doing the safe training stuff I had no idea about, and just like it's always been a constant experience about like I could go back and I can remember things that people have said to other people that I've thought I haven't thought two things about it, but now when I like take these trainings or I do these classes, now I learn more and more of like, oh, like that was kind of disrespectful, or that was like a microaggression. Like some of these microaggressions I haven't heard about, and then hearing them now, it's like, okay, like I can remember a few times where people have said that, and now I know going forward, like just to be mindful and to who those are around me, for them to be mindful as well.
How do you think that your life would be impacted had you not experienced these hate incidents?
For me, I don't think that I would have realized how many people are actually willing to fight on my side. Like I said, I've experienced these things since my freshman year of college 5 years ago. But knowing that, given like like the amount of people that came to our call of action, for example, which like if you include the online viewers was around 500 people. I never would have anticipated that. You know, it's like you always hear of allies and people who are willing to stand up and be there, but when it comes down to like being there for you personally, it's like a huge difference.
I definitely agree with that. You know, I believe that people tend to, you know, stay quiet, you know, about things like that. And, you know, it's really nice to actually see that people care, you know, for them to voice themselves and say, I am an ally, I'm here to support you, I'm here to fight for you. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much that, because, I mean, there was a huge turnout, and just, like, being able to now know how to handle these, like, situations, like, in the future for when they come up, like, learning about them earlier, so you know, like, I've experienced this, I know what to do, know what steps to take, and it's definitely going to help with, like, preparing, because even though it happened in a college setting, I mean, these happen on way higher levels, like governmental and institutional areas where people are, like, extremely restricted.
What is your name and what are your pronouns?
My name is Danny, and they are she, her, hers.
Perfect. And when have you experienced hate in your personal life?
The time that stands out the most to me is when I was a sophomore in high school, and one of my friends and I got searched. She was white, and I'm not. And while we were in the office, the reason we got searched, though, was because she wanted to show me an entrance, like an exit/entrance to the gym that no one knew about. And while we were down there, another girl said that she saw us stealing, which we didn't. So then we had to get talked to. And while the liaisons officer was going through our stuff, she would just patted my friend, like just, okay, making sure that nothing's here. Whereas for me, she went into every single one of my pockets, even like the tiny like pocket that's on your jeans that no one actually knows what it's for. And my backpack was Bob Marley, and she asked me if I smoke weed. And even though we were at school, she was like, wow, you have a lot of papers in here. So that was just a really weird moment to go through. But
and what would you like to say to your younger self?
stop being so angry. So, yeah.
I like that. And then on to the lighter question. What is your favorite animal and why?
My favorite animal is a dolphin, because they're just happy all the time and they're so bubbly.
Okay, great, thank you.
Of course.
Perfect. That's it.
My name is Hagin Wankwo, and my pronouns are he, him, his.
Okay. And what is your favorite animal and why?
I say my favorite animal is probably a giraffe, because they're really tall, they're really chill, underestimated, because I learned that if a giraffe kicks a lion once, it would die. So I think that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, I would tell my younger self to be chill and not take things seriously, and probably be really observant. Yeah.
Your pronouns.
So my name is Patrick Meady. My pronouns are he, him, and his.
Great. And how would you describe the hate speech that happened here on our campus?
The first time that it happened, it really did affect me a little bit personally, because the two people that were running for OSA Vice President and President were actually two really good friends of mine. Having them get put out there and having them believing that these two believe what this horrible, horrible person thought didn't just affect me, it horribly affected both of them. I don't think that they could ever believe such things.
Name and what are your pronouns?
My name is Devin Strebe. My pronouns are he, him, and his.
Okay. And what is your favorite animal and why?
I would have to say the sloth is my favorite animal, because they're just super lazy and they just bum around all day. So that's pretty sweet.
Great. And what advice would you like to give to your younger self?
I would love to tell my younger self to just relax, breathe. When you're walking into a classroom, I always find that everybody's looking, and I'm always worried about what people are going to say. So, you know, just don't even worry about it. Just let it go and focus on you.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
I spit that right out. I have no idea what the hell I was going to say.
And if you want to say anything else, like to the class, maybe have this be kind of like a surprise. What did you want to say to the class?
To the class, I want to say, you're remarkable. You really are remarkable. I just don't think that people have told you this enough. There are a bunch of people in the class who feel marginalized, that they feel like that their voices don't matter, that they've been discounted for this reason or that reason, and they've been shoved off to the side. And I think that is an atrocity. That's what I want to say to you and every person in my class is that you have something that's valuable. You have a voice, you have a perspective, you have a brain, and lots of other things. And so I'm happy that you all are using them and realizing them how valuable they are. Because it's your generation, I think, that is really going to move the issue of diversity and inclusion in a different direction. I'm happy to have been a part of this, but I can't take much credit for it because you all decided what it was, what were the projects that you wanted to do. So I hope you leave this class feeling like, yeah, we did this.
Sweet. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I also really like red kangaroos specifically as my second favorite animal. They're really cool and they can beat the shit out of you. For anyone watching, some of the crew is excited about my answer.